Hello, welcome to episode 284 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today is the 16th of January. Welcome everybody, and today I'm going to chat to you about all the things I've ticked off my sort of make 9 knitting and crochet things from last year. Now, I did put a big list. There was 9 adult garments, 6 sort of household things like blankets, etc. And then 9 children's garments that I had on my list. But I didn't do too bad. I've done 6, 7, 8, 11. I had 11 out of 24 target projects. I knew that I wasn't going to do all 24. So that's not too bad. And it looks quite good all piled up. I didn't realise how much I'd done last year until I've put all these things together. These are my sort of garments just for me, and I'll show you the stack. That is the stack of garments just for me. Ooh. So it's made me think, wow, actually I didn't do too bad last year. So good idea to work out what you made last year to work out what you've achieved, because that's a lot more than I thought I would. So that's not too bad at all. So I'm going to start with the adult garments that I've achieved for 2024. And I didn't achieve them all because there was 9, but 6 isn't too bad out of the 9. So first on my list was the Comfort Fade Cardi. So this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it's a lovely squishy lot of loveliness. I will put it on so that you can see. I've put a t-shirt on purpose so that I could just put things on top. So I have put a bit of weight on since I made this cardi, but I wouldn't close it up anyway, so it's not too bad. So it will sort of close, but obviously it's not overlapping to make it really cozy and comfy. So I kind of wish that I'd done a slightly bigger size because I have put weight on, but I think it still looks quite nice and it's very cozy. I wear it in the house a lot because it's got quite nice long sleeves. So this is the Comfort Fade Cardi, and I used 5 of my colourways that I dyed in a mini set to start with, and it's my Mixtape Minis volume 10. There's a whole host of colour names. I will leave the names of all the colours in the show notes if you wanted to see. But I faded them. I just love how it's a lovely squishy garter stitch on the outside of the cardigan, and I love how these colours work together. I'm really pleased with what I did with there. I think I reversed the colour order compared to what it said on the pattern because I wanted the turquoises to be sort of on the top of the neckline here. So I started with the grey instead of the instructions said to work it the other way around. I had quite a lot left from this garment, so I actually used it on the next garments, which I'll share with you shortly. But a very, very comfy, cosy cardigan. Loved the way you faded from one colour to another. It's in a DK weight yarn, and the pattern is actually written for a 32 chest to a 63-inch chest, or that in centimetres is a 84 to 160 centimetres. So there's a reasonable size range, and I would definitely knit this again. I was a bit worried that when I sort of started knitting it that I didn't really like the fact that the pearl bumps were on the outside, but I do really like that now. It's something a little bit different compared to my other garments, so it's definitely something I wear quite a lot. So the next garment I'm going to show you is the Camaro, and now I made this garment with the yarn I got left over from this cardigan, at least the top bit, and then I dyed some grey yarn which was in the Rain colourway to go with it, so that I sort of completed it enough to make into a full garment. So you can see that the stripes are not exactly the same just because I was running low on yarn. I could have worked out exactly how I needed to sort of do them so that they were equal, but I didn't mind being a bit random. I think to start with I had them quite even at the top, and then I ran out of some of the yarns, so I just kept knitting. Really, really love this pattern. I'm very, very tempted to knit another one of these again. Let me try it on and show you. So I probably should have put another t-shirt underneath for this one, because I could do with either a lower one or just not wearing a t-shirt underneath. But for the sake of me whipping tops on and off, I'll just leave this t-shirt on for now. Absolutely love this jumper, and it is another DK weight yarn, and it's in my merino and nylon base, which I absolutely love. Absolutely really adore this pattern. I do love a v-neck. The only trouble is when I've worn it a lot, it tends to sort of stretch over my arms. So what I am going to gonna do is go along and crochet the neckline to stabilize it a bit, like I have done with a few other garments, so that I can wear it. I just haven't got around to sorting that out yet. So you can see that this sort of slightly goes over the arm, so if I crochet it to bring it in a little bit, that will make the neckline a little bit more sturdy. So the mistake I made was casting on using a stretchy cast on, because I was a little bit freaked out that I'd knitted one of my other garments a little bit later that I'll show you. The neckline came up really tight, and I thought, well, I'll just stick to the stretchy cast on for all of my garments so that I don't have that problem again. And because this is a very open neckline anyway, I could have actually done with a more stable cast on for this. So if I had done the stable cast on, it would have been fine. But what I've learned is do a stretchy cast on for something that's quite a small neckline, and then a more solid cast on for something with a larger neckline like this. But sometimes it is difficult to tell, because on photographs of patterns sometimes people have slightly different tensions, so you have to kind of play it by ear. So I suppose really if you are unsure, do a stretchy one, and then you can always stabilize it with the crochet chain on the inside of the neck. But I do love the sort of V shape. It's a really nice comfy fit. I did this one a little bit looser than some of the others. Actually, I quite like this fit, so I might do some more that's a little bit looser and comfy. But I still didn't have a load of positive ease on this. It was probably just like an inch or so, just so that it sort of just hangs off my bust area and skims over my tummy a little bit. So I'm really pleased with this. I just need to get around to sorting out that neckline, and I do love a V-neck and I do love a stripe, so definitely going to knit one of these again. And it was brilliant that I was able to use up yarns that I'd started with my cardigan, and I used every little scrap on this, which is absolutely brilliant. So you could potentially use this pattern to do like an advent knitting or something, but this is a DK weight one, so you'd either have to use a DK advent or hold it double to get the same sort of effect. But love this pattern. So this is by Tanis Lavelle, and I would definitely knit it again, and you might even see another one in the future. Do apologise for my t-shirt being a bit dodgy underneath, but you get the idea. Ta-da! So my next make is the Forestland sweater, and I recently finished this. Actually, I think I showed it on last week's video. Completely finished and blocked. Love. This is another DK weight and a merino nylon base, and I knitted this in my colourways Nightshift and Superstition, which are sort of tonal colours that I thought really went really well together. So the front of the garment, you can see is a sort of equal amount of blue around the front, but then if you look at the back, there's some short rows to shape it a little bit, so I'll pop it on the right way around so you can see. So there we are, it's the Forestland sweater. I did this one a little bit more snug. I think it'd look better if I had a dress underneath, to be honest, so you can't see the sort of waistband of my trousers and my t-shirt underneath. So there we are, the Forestland sweater. I did this with no ease at all, just the same size as me, but then it's blocked out a little bit, so hopefully it just skims over the lumps and bumps a little bit. So this is the Forestland sweater, and it's a pattern by Jennifer Steingass. I did the full length sleeves on this. Quite often I'll do sort of 3/4, but I thought I'd go for the full length because it is slightly thicker, and I'm really pleased with how this comes out. Really love the colour work. The only thing that I really changed from the original pattern is that I used a slightly bigger needle size. I went up one more needle size up the colourwork bit, but I don't actually think I needed to, so I think I could have got away with not doing that increase in needle size just for the colourwork. I stuck to the needle size as the rest of the pattern suggested, but I'm quite pleased with how it come out, and that's what it looks like on. Really lovely and warm and cosy, this one. And I love that beautiful colour work. Lovely design on this one. So again, this is a DK weight of yarn, and it is written in a size 36.5 inches to 67.5 inches, or that's 91 to 169 centimetres. So there's quite a good size range in there. And I didn't do any sort of ease at all. I just kept it the same size as my body. So you could add a bit of positive ease if you wanted it a bit baggier than I choose to have it. But I feel like this is the perfect length. I think I've learnt now, after I've done quite a lot of garments all in a relatively short period of time, that if it's quite tight fitting, you end up having to do it a little bit longer. If it's a very baggy jumper, you can get away with doing a shorter length, because obviously it isn't going right up to your arm, underneath the arm. So I know that about 14 inches on a nice snug fitting jumper is about the right length for me. But if I've got a baggier one, I don't need to knit it as long. But I'm really pleased with this one. So I've got quite a few lovely new jumpers this year. I'm really pleased. The next one on my list is the Wonder by Tin Can Knits. Again, I have done this zero positive ease, so it is quite fitted because that's my preference. But you could absolutely do it more positive ease and have it really baggy if you wanted to. And I also took the sleeves to a 3/4 length sleeve as well. So this is a fingering weight one. I thought it'd make me wear it a little bit more. And it's got these really lovely cables on the front. It's got quite a wide-ish neckline, and I would definitely knit this again. But I do remember when I was knitting all those cables, it did seem to take quite a long time when I was sort of on the body section, because you're doing the same thing over and over again. But I really like it, and I love the colour of this. So the original pattern is a sport weight. So I chose my BFL base because I know that it's on the thicker side of my fingering weight. So I thought actually that would work out nicely, and I did end up getting gauge with the BFL nylon fingering weight base. Even though it's a fingering weight, it is on a slightly larger, thicker side. So I worked out quite nicely. It is called the Wonder Sweater by Tin Can Knits. It is from sizes 19.5 inch to 70 inch bust, obviously because it goes from children's sizes as well. So that's a newborn right up to a 6XL being the 70 inches. I really like it. It's something that I can chuck on, and hopefully I can lose some of the weight I put on at Christmas so that it doesn't feel so snug. It's the same for a couple of these because I put on weight over Christmas. Because it's got that cable on, I probably could have done with having an extra inch of ease in there just to make it a little bit cozier. But I have put a few pounds on over Christmas, so hopefully if I lose a few pounds I put on at Christmas, that'll feel a little bit more comfortable again. But I'll still wear it. It still looks lovely. I think it depends what I've got underneath. I've got some comfy jogging bottoms today. You can see I've got some heart print in the pocket. So they're not exactly the best thing to put with these things, but they're nice and cozy, so you know what. So the next one is the Love Note. Now please excuse my t-shirt. I would normally wear like a black vest top underneath this so that it sort of smoothed the lumps and bumps out if I was going to wear it with trousers, but I think it works a lot better with like a dress because it hits me just on my waist. So that would be the best way to wear this. So I don't mind cropped tops or cropped jumpers as long as I wear the right thing on the bottom half. I feel that if I have like a dress or a skirt on underneath, that would sort of look a lot nicer. When I have got trousers on, I like things to be a bit longer. So when I knitted this, I was running out of the yarn I'd dyed up, so I thought, well, I'm just gonna do it relatively short and then wear it with a skirt instead. But I absolutely love the pattern on this. The lace is so much fun to knit. It is gorgeous. I actually knitted my mum a jumper in the blue version of this, in My Blue Heaven colourway I called it, and that was just in a DK merino yarn that I knitted for mum. But for this one I knitted it with a fingering weight merino, and I held it double with some fluffy alpaca to make it a really nice texture, and I actually really like how this has come out. I think it comes out a little bit less fluffy than I anticipated, but just a nice amount, and it makes it quite a light top because you haven't got that thickness. But I do like it with a skirt underneath, like I said. But I would definitely knit another one of these again. I would potentially knit, you could do one a shorter sleeve, and I might even knit one again and do it longer sleeve and make it longer in the body as well, so I can wear it with sort of jeans and keep me nice and cozy in the winter. But I definitely want to knit this again. This one seemed to knit up so quick, and that's how I ended up knitting mum one as well. The Love Note is sort of written as a DK pattern, but obviously this is held double, a fingering weight and a lace weight held double, but that just gives you about the same weight as the DK. And then I did knit my mum the DK version in a merino, which comes out equally as lovely. I think it's a lot more drapey when you knit it just in the DK. This is sort of a bit more fluffy and lighter, which is nice, so nice to have two different effects. The love note is written in size 24.5 inch bust to 80.5 inch bust. That's 0 to 6 months up to 6XL, so it goes quite big. Goes right the way through children's to adults, so that's brilliant. And I just love this. One of my favourite things that I've knitted. I just need to, actually I think what I need to do is make myself a really nice comfy sort of black stretchy dress that I can put underneath it. I have got one dress that I've got a panel of stripey up here, but it doesn't look right underneath the heart bit at the top, so I need to make another one that's in a fabric that goes really nicely with the pink, I think. But I absolutely love it. I think that's what the thing is. I sometimes don't reach for things because the things that would go with it I haven't got in my wardrobe yet, so I really need to make a dress to go underneath this that goes really nicely with it. I could even potentially get another sort of pink or purple fabric to make the dress to go underneath it. I think that would be really nice. But look at that lace, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I thought I'd film the action shot of me getting this jumper off because the neckline is too tight. So this is the one that I made with a stable cast on, thinking that, oh, that neckline would be quite big. Actually, this is quite tight. So I have to take my glasses off and I have to sort of wiggle it around my head to get able to get it off my head. Oh dear. So it does go over my head. It's just a little bit on the tight side. Bit annoying that I have to take my glasses off to get it off, but there you go. I think I've learned quite a lot making multiples of garments, because you sort of learn something each time you make something, and then the more you make, the less likely you are to make mistakes like I have. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes as well. So the last but not least of the garments is my Ariana cardigan. Oh my goodness, look at that. I blocked it a couple of days ago and it is looking rather lovely. But I did put some buttons on it, but I probably won't do it up, to be honest. I think it's better just left open. So I picked up stitches on the crocheted sections that I did before, using the same needle size. So I used 3mm needles and a 3mm hook for this, so that it sort of matched up. So going back, if you haven't watched the video before, the Ariana cardigan is actually written, I think it's a worsted weight yarn. Is it worsted? Yeah, it's a worsted weight yarn, and there's sort of two sizes that the pattern's written in. It's a free pattern, which is absolutely lovely, and it's 40 inches and 65 inches, the two sizes, but that is for a worsted weight, and that's 101 centimeters to 165 centimeters. So what I did is I just kept crocheting till I got to the size that I wanted the square to be big enough to go around my bust. And then, because you can look at the schematic diagram, work out corner to corner what size you need to make the squares, make your squares that size, put them together, and hopefully they fit. That is the theory. So I have a page on my Ravelry page that I took a photograph of the sort of calculations that I had on my pattern, on the schematic diagram that I'd got, and I made those calculations. It's got, because it's crochet and you obviously are restricted this to be all the same width, and you can see how it's freshly blocked because it's a bit of like a sharp edge on that side. So you've got the same width all the way down the arm, and the original pattern is written so it's like a full, there's another half a square there, so it would have taken me right down to the bottom. But I thought if I wear this around the house, I'd wear it a bit more if it was sort of 3/4 length. So that was what I've done. So when I was picking up stitches around the edge of the squares, I picked up about 3 knitted stitches for every sort of crochet cluster, so that I was sort of trying to be as consistent as possible. So I've done that. I'm pleased with how it's come out. I ended up doing a stretchy bind off on the edge of the neckband because I was worried about, because obviously you're going around this corner here, I thought it would work a lot better if I just do it a stretchy bind off. So the edge is a little bit stretchy, but that doesn't matter at all. The crochet part of it holds its shape really well. I think that's come out a really nice length. I'm really pleased with the length, how that's worked. So I did 14 rows on the all the way around the neckband and all the way around the bottom with a stretchy bind off, and then when I did the cuffs I did 12 rows and then a stretchy bind off, so that I just had a little bit of stretch on there. I did do buttons, but I've used the most small buttons so they don't hold brilliantly, and I don't think that it's as flattering when it's done up. So I will probably wear it undone. I feel like this shape here, it doesn't complement my bust very well. So what I will do is just wear it open, I think. Like this. And I'll probably wear a plain t-shirt underneath it, to be honest. Even though the colours go quite well with it. I think like a nice burgundy t-shirt or a dusty pink would look really nice. But it is finished. Ta-da! I did notice actually I've never made a crocheted sort of granny square cardigan before, but you can feel the air coming through it a little bit, especially where I've got short sleeves on. But I would definitely make one again, and I'm very tempted to make one that's the thicker weight yarn actually, to have, I can cozy around the house with it. It'd be amazing. It did feel like it took ages to crochet all of the squares. I think there was like 38 of the big squares, complete squares, and it felt like it took a long time to make them, but well worth it in the end. And it also, because I was using scraps up, oh, it's fantastic. I need to weigh this actually just before, when I've taken it off I'll weigh it and work out how many scraps that I've used up. But if you hadn't seen it, I did a previous video where I sorted out all of my sort of pinky purple scraps, organised them in colour families, and then I've tried to keep each round of the cardigan, each round of each granny square is sort of the similar shade in each of these squares, so that they look like they're sort of put together. I mean, some squares aren't exactly the same, but you get the kind of same idea where you've got one round is a bit more pink, one round's a bit more purple, but it sort of looks put together a bit because I've organised my colours. But I'm so pleased with it. Obviously it doesn't look so good with this t-shirt, but I will have to make it. Oh, I have to make a t-shirt that goes perfectly well with it. I think it'd be nice with grey as well, something plain, because this is quite busy. But there we are. That is the Ariana cardigan. Definitely recommend this. This is really quite long actually. It goes right to sort of the edge of my bum, which is nice. Just give you a nice view there, but never mind. Yeah, definitely make that again. Really nice. I found it really good that you could sort of work out how big you needed your square to be to go all the way around your body, and then just make your square accordingly. So actually you could mess around with the pattern quite a bit and change it. But it is quite a low V-neck with the way the squares are set up. Well, it is on mine anyway. But oh, look at those crochet squares, lovely. A sight to behold. I love a crochet square. So that is my Ariana cardigan. I will pop a link in the description bar down below where I've took a picture of that notes page where exactly how many squares I've done of each of the types, and it's basically the schematic page in the pattern, and I've made a few notes on there of what I've done. But the only thing I hadn't made notes on is the what I've done for the ribbon, but I actually have made notes on that Ravelry page since then, so you can see the two different places, the picture and the notes, to see what I've done. There's quite a few other people that have done this, and before I did it I omitted one of the squares under the arm, which made it like a backed winged sleeve, but I found that because I've got quite a big sort of bust compared to my arms, the way I'd done it, I ended up with plenty of room omitting that sort of backed wing shaped, whereas some people said that they found it was a bit tight. It might make a difference if you do it in a thicker weight yarn maybe, but I think I'd have plenty of room because I can pinch at least a couple of inches under there. But I think you could play it by ear, sort of pin the squares together, and then if you had enough room you could sew it together. So there we are, the Ariana cardigan. Ta-da! So those are all the ones I actually managed to knit and crochet in 2024 off my list, but there were 3 more things that I wanted to get round to but I didn't. The first thing I didn't get round to on my list was the Campside Cosy by Alicia Plummer, and that's a DK weight cardigan, and it is so cozy. I did utterly mean to get round to it, I just didn't get round to it and there wasn't quite enough time to do it. I will be doing that this year. I think that's going to be on the new Make 9. That's a DK weight cardigan, goes from 34 inch to 70 bust, or 86 to 177 centimetres, so that's going to be on the list. I also had the Swallow sweater. The name of the designer is very difficult to pronounce. Maschennunder, Manja, I'm sorry if I've made a terrible job, but I will pop the link to the pattern in the description bar down below. But that's just beautiful. They're beautiful swallows in colour work, and that's a 4-ply cardigan from 80 centimetres to 150 centimetre bust, so that's quite a good size range. I had the Field sweater on my list as well, which was a lovely DK with a detailed neckline by Camila. That went from size 94 centimetres to 142 bust, so that was quite a reasonable size range as well. But I just didn't get around to it. 3 lovely garments. I think they're going to transfer over to my new list, but I'm going to reassess all my sort of other new ideas, put a list together and do priority lists to see what I get round to for the 2025. Now I'm going on to my sort of household list of things to do. I only managed to do one completely. I made the Weekender blanket, and I made a small version of the Weekender blanket from my lovely advent calendar from Giddy Yarns, and this was probably, I think it was 2-3 years ago I had this advent calendar. I wanted to put all the lovely colours together. I think it was a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory theme that Helen did, and then I used the Christmas Day yarn for the lovely edging. So the pattern is the Weekender blanket by Sandra Paul, and I've done it in a DK sort of yarn because I've held 2 fingering weights double instead of just doing it in fingering weight yarn, which I think's lovely. It just comes up a little bit thicker. The method of attachment for this one though means that you've got sort of gaps. You absolutely don't have to do it this way, but if you don't like those gaps you'd need to sort of modify the way you join them, but I did quite enjoy doing it like that as I was going. It's just a little bit gappier. I did a small one and I used up all of the 24 minis, and I used most of the, I think I used 60 grams of the extra game I had for Christmas Day to make it this size. But I was really pleased to use all the minis in the same sort of project, and I've got a little bit left over of this lovely edge colour to put into something else. Love this pattern. I've been using the Weekender blanket hexagons for my sort of colour of the month little crochet samples, so that is a really pleasure to crochet. Oh, I didn't show you the back, did I? That was the back of it. Really gorgeous colours. Some of these squares I did sort of multiple colours. I made a magic knot ball and managed to finish off these little edge hexagons with using up every little scrap of the yarn, which is absolutely brilliant. So the next thing I got on my list, which I haven't completed but I have made quite a few of these hexagons, is my Pop Stars blanket. So this is one of them, and I have lots of bags of hexagons that I've got made up ready to join together, so I need to get to it. And they made from the Pop Stars mini skein sets that I was doing throughout 2024. This has got a bit creased, I need to block it. But you get the idea. That's going to be stars all over it, so it's a bit like a sort of quilting pattern. I will hopefully get to that in the next few weeks so that I can actually show you a decent amount of it finished, but I at least have got a lot of the diamonds finished, so that's good. So the things that I hadn't got to are the Suzette double wall hanging basket, which is made with bulky yarn, and the pattern's by Gore Agathe Rotman, and I just didn't get around to it. It was a really lovely thing to make, plus I'm not quite sure where I'm going to hang it, but I just thought that that'd be a lovely thing to use in the house. I've got the Fleur hanging basket on my list by Mel Harrison. That's made out of a bulky yarn, and that's a free pattern. Again, I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to put it, so I didn't get around to it as early as I would with other things. There was the Bohan crocheted sort of rope basket, which I really still need to get round to, but I just didn't get around to it. and the Diamond Throw by De Bros as well, and that one was a lovely bobbly crocheted throw, so I fancied doing that as well, just didn't get around to it. Still really like them though, so they might make their way onto the new list for this year. Then my last list was the children's garments, so I managed to actually, Adam's mum knitted these. So the first one is the Sorrel Mini, and this is knitted for my little son Jensen. This pattern goes from 0 to 6 months to 10 to 12 years, and I think Adam's mum knitted the 4-year-old. It is a little bit on the big side for Jensen. It is a 4-ply yarn, and it is knitted in the Way You Make Me Feel colourway in my own hand-dyed yarn, which is like a blue with more sort of royal blue speckles. It has got these beautiful stitch details around the neck. I've got an adult version of the sorrel and it's really lovely. The difference is with this one, it's got a 1x1 rib, whereas the adult version was like an I-cord. I do think that both of these garments have got quite a wide neckline, and I did end up doing a crochet stabilisation on the I-cord around the neckline of mine to make it a little bit cinched in because it was too big for me. So that's another thing you can do if you do find that your neckline's a bit too big. I will link the video where I showed you how I did that modification in the description bar down below if you are doing the sorrel or one with an I-cord around the neck. I will pop a video of Jensen wearing it when I first did it for him. I don't know if I'll get the chance to put it on him today, but that was a lovely knit. A little bit on the big side, but plenty of growing space. The next on the list was the So Faded Pint Size, which is this one, and I used up a load of yarn scraps with this one as well. It is knitted in a 4-ply yarn, and it goes from 12 months to age 12, so really quite a nice big size range, and you can use all your leftover bits and bobs there, and I just chose to use blue this time. It did come up a bit big when I first made it, but he is only 3, and I think I knitted the age 3 to 4 or 4 years for him when I knitted this, so obviously I wanted to do it a little bit bigger so he's got a bit of growing space. It's got some garter stitch detail on the shoulders, but the rest of it is sort of stocking stitch. That's the So Faded Pint Size, and there is an adult version of this as well, but it's a separate pattern. The last one that Liz has knitted for Jensen is the Flax DK. This has been folded in my drawer, so it's a little bit creased at the sides, but you get the point, you get the same idea. The Flax DK is a lovely sort of basic pattern. It's got garter stitch, but all the way down the arm on this one. This came up a little bit big on Jensen as well when we first made it, but he's got plenty of growing space to grow into it. The colourway is the Everything I Do It For You colourway. Lots of green, a bit of yellow and a bit of turquoise actually in the background here. So it isn't just a flat, tone. There's some different tones of a little bit of turquoise and a little bit of yellow in there as well. This is a lovely jumper to knit for a little child. This is a free pattern on Ravelry as well, so it's brilliant to be able to knit not just kids jumpers but right up to adult sizes as well. Actually quite tempted to knit myself one of these. If you've got a really pretty yarn and you want something that's quite plain, that would be lovely, and you don't have to do the garter stitch on the arms if you didn't want to, but that's quite a nice little feature. Looks really nice on Jensen, a little bit big at the moment, but obviously more growing room. So those are all the things that I've managed to knit, or Adam's mum's managed to knit with the baby clothes. I knitted myself all the adult jumpers and the blankets, but I knitted all the adult jumpers myself, so at least I've achieved that rather than getting Adam's mum to knit everything for me. So by next week I'm going to put together a new sort of targets list for 2025, including knitting and crochet, and I might do a sewing one as well, because now Jensen's getting a little bit older, he's starting to go to nursery, we've got a little bit more time to sort of do things because now Adam can sort of help me with the business, so that's really good. And I have a little bit more evening time to myself. So really enjoying my crafty goodness at the moment. Can't wait to make a new list. Love making new lists. I always end up doing it sort of in the middle of January rather than at the beginning, because it takes me a while to sort of catch up with myself after Christmas, but doesn't matter, does it? I've still got the rest of the year to do them. So I have got a little bit of update on what's occurring. We've got some new Barbara's Day Out days sorted. I'm going to leave a link to the Barbara's Day Out page on my website, which will list all the events that we've got booked, so you can see all the different places. We've got 4 different venues for the next 4 meetings. We've got a village hall in Wretham, I can't think that's how you pronounce it, Wretham, for the next one, and then I think we've got one in the Starbucks in Aylsham. The one after that is back to Dunstan, and then we've got the George at Swaffham for the month after. So we've got 4 different venues, so it's a little bit more accessible to different people at different events. So those are listed all on the website, and I'll leave a link in the description bar down below. But we've got some of the original Dunstan Hall meetups as well. So I will be trying to do them once a month for the rest of the year, but I am not doing one in February because I'm already going to the afternoon tea booked by Shannon from Blue Fern Yarns, where Hayley from Ducky Darlings is doing a stall. So I'm excited about that, and I've already got lots on for February. Also prepping for the East Anglia Yarn Festival, which I'm vending at, which is exciting. So that's why we've missed out sort of February, but we will be carrying on in March after the East Anglia Yarn Festival. So that's all exciting. Got loads planned for the rest of the year. I'm also going to be attending the May Lay Family Yarns retreat, which is going to be wonderful. It's called the Woolay Retreat. Really excited to go. I've been wondering about it for a while, and then my friend Sam, who's from the Sam Rayner podcast, she said she was going to go, so I was like, maybe I should go. Sometimes it takes that little bit of a push of somebody else fancying it as well, so I was like, yes, I'm gonna go. So hopefully if you're going to the May Woolay Retreat, I shall see you there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.